ScottPlexCity.
Marks.
ScottPlexCity.
Marks.
ScottPlexCity.
Marks.
ScottPlexCity.
Marks.
Welcome back to another edition of ScottPlexCity, which you can find when you subscribe to Pank's podcast. I'm Scott Pank, and that is Scott D.
What do you say? What's going on?
Crazy breaking news. Brock Lesnar. I don't care who you are, nobody called.
No one saw that coming.
Except that UFC guy that reported it a couple hours earlier. But other than that, nobody knew Brock Lesnar was going to the UFC.
I'm guessing it's just a one fight.
It is. So far, it's a one-fight deal. He's going to fight Mark Hunt at UFC 200.
And that guy's no slouch. He's not like he's some guy who's just coming to the UFC or whatever. This guy has been in quite a few scraps.
Yeah, Mark Hunt is definitely the real deal.
He's beaten
there.
some pretty big names.
I think he might have lost his last fight, but that don't really matter because Brock Lesnar hasn't fought in the UFC in how many years now? You know what I mean? So
2011 was the last time or
somewhere
like
around
that?
there. It's been like close to 5 years, maybe 6 years close to. So Brock, he needs to get ready for it. He does have like maybe 3 inches height difference, and he has about 6 centimeters in reach difference. So Brock does have an advantage with those, but we'll see what happens. But Brock will be back to the WWE for SummerSlam. But what if he really gets messed up in UFC 200? Because that's at the end of July.
Yep.
SummerSlam is at the end of August. If he breaks an arm, that's usually 6-8 weeks to heal. So you miss SummerSlam there. If he breaks a jaw, count him out for 6 months. Like breaks a foot, his ankle. Like they're doing a lot right here. They're risking a lot having him go in the octagon.
When I heard that, I was like, what happened to his WWE deal? And then all of a sudden I see everything popping up on WWE.com. They're promoting the hell out of this thing. So I was just like, okay, what's going on here exactly? They're still saying, okay, he's going to be at SummerSlam. If he, like you said, if he gets messed up, there's going to be no match at SummerSlam. There's no way they're going to let him compete.
Do you think there's some type of stipulations that there's a backdoor contract? Like, okay, well, if Brock does get hurt here, you need to give us one of your guys so we can have a high elite name that puts like realness to the brand, you know? So
I could see that happening.
There has to be
There's
some
got
type
to be
of
some
thing.
sort of wheeling and dealing that's going on here because the simple fact that Brock is doing something in the UFC, I'm wondering maybe this has something to do with the fact that Ronda made an appearance at WrestleMania.
Right. That was 2 WrestleManias ago, though, right?
I was 31, so that was last year. It was last year.
It was last year?
It was last year. A little over a year ago now since we were.
Okay.
So year and a couple months. So who knows if that has something to do with that, or are they actually going to bring Ronda Rousey around again for something else? There's been rumblings about Paige Van Zandt being used for SummerSlam possibly. So I like to know exactly what the wheeling deal between Dana White and Vince McMahon was.
There has to be something.
This is just huge.
Connor, maybe?
That would be absolutely huge.
Let's kind of do some speculation here. If Conor McGregor was the guy that was chose to be UFC to come into the WWE for a fight, who is somebody Conor could take on that you think would be relevant?
Maybe someone like Rusev.
Okay. That would be pretty good. Rusev, maybe even
Sheamus, another Irish guy. Something like that.
Oh, that would be
the
good.
2 Irish guys going against each other. You know, Sheamus be like, oh, I'm the greatest Irish, professional athlete there is. And then Conor comes around and says,
like, oh, really?
Oh, really?
Like,
that would be, I think that would be something pretty huge.
If it was Paige Van Zandt, did I say it right?
Yes.
Do you think she would be more like, more better at taking on somebody like Charlotte or Sasha?
I think someone like they probably have her go against someone like Charlotte since Charlotte's the champ. That's the way they would probably work that if they were to use someone like her.
And
they
she's
might bring
bigger
in quite
built
a few,
too.
Yeah, they might bring in a few of the ladies from the UFC for all you know to be kind of a head-to-head against the WWE girls to see who's better. There's always a chance of something like that going on too.
Could we get a UFC invasion?
That would be cool. I mean, I could see that if that's the way they're going to start working things around.
Because at the end of the day, the UFC is kind of becoming the new WWE in a way, the way that they have big personalities and everyody has a storyline.
It seems like there's storylines too. You guys like, John Bones Jones. I mean, he is. I mean, talking to our friend Daryl a lot. He always says that Jones is like such a heel, and when you look at it, and he is. He truly is, a heel. He's a total jackass, and that's maybe really his personality, but he seems to be playing it off more for the TV than anything else, and he's acting truly like a heel. And
same as Connor.
Connor's the same way. He is such a loudmouth on the mic.
Ronda was a heel.
Ronda was a heel, even though she was cheered. Misha Tate, she likes to jaw jack a lot too. Both the Diaz's. Both of those guys are idiots.
Oh,
but
my God. You
still,
know how many times they've been punched in the freaking head?
Oh, my God. They just sound like total idiots.
Function when they're like 60, 70 years old. I feel bad for them because their brain's going to be mush.
Yeah, I do feel sorry for them, but like I said, I mean, they just sound like total morons talking on the mic.
They do.
I hate to see anything bad happen to them, but and don't get me wrong, great fighters. I wouldn't want to be in the octagon with either one of them.
No way.
But both of them sound like total freaking idiots.
And while we're talking about the UFC, it was I don't know if it was officially announced, but CM Punk UFC 202.
I haven't seen anything official
but that's supposed to be the
UFC,
same card that Connor
and Diaz too.
Exactly. So hey, if that happens,
that's going to be a moneymaker.
But it's funny that Brock Lesnar is in the UFC
before CM Punk is.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's another reason why when Brock got the itch again, that Vince was like, yeah, go ahead and do that. We'll stick it to CM Punk.
Right.
That's always could have been something else that was
infuriating. I've seen a lot
mind.
of people saying, hey, put Brock and CM Punk in a fight, but it's like the weight difference
classes.
is like
this
way
isn't
too
like
much.
WWE where you have cruiserweights going against heavyweights. This is real life. It's guys in the same weight class going against each other. They don't do that sort of thing.
Now, we're going to make our NXT Takeover The End predictions coming up toward the end of the podcast. We'll talk about Raw as well. But, while we're here kind of, and let's get rolling with WWE and wrestling and everything. Teddy Long, he was there, came out of nowhere, started campaigning to be general manager of SmackDown. First of all, he messed up mad times thinking that he's at a SmackDown taping where they can redo it, which just so funny. Like, Teddy, I love you, man, but you really...
There's a reason why I think you retired or they let you go.
Right. You just don't say what...
That was bad.
Oh, my God. But we learned that Stephanie is going to be the general manager of SmackDown.
From the sounds of it.
Because she said... in that one backstage little segment, she's like, because I'm going to be in control of SmackDown. Or is that just a troll?
It could be very well a troll. And I also kind of found it strange that she was really back to her very heelish tactics.
Right, and Shane wasn't there.
Shane wasn't there, so all of a sudden she's like, I'm the dominant McMahon again. Is this part of the storyline where Shane's going to be back? And we're like, wait a minute, Steph, I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I thought we were kind of equal partners. So I think this is going to start really building up to them button heads once we get to the draft.
Like, hey, we never discussed you taking control of SmackDown or anything. So do we get SummerSlam Shane versus Steph, or is that something? Because allegedly Shane's only staying through SummerSlam.
Allegedly, of course. From the looks of it, he's sticking around for a while.
I think he's there for the long haul.
I think he's there for the long haul.
Next WrestleMania it would make sense to push Shane versus Stephanie, let it build for like a course of a year, and then have
I don't think technically they actually have those two in the ring.
Yeah,
but maybe like Shane against Triple H.
Yeah, representers or whatever.
Or SmackDown versus Raw, like a Survivor Series type thing, where whichever team wins is the dominant team and will take over both shows or whatever.
Now, do you think when we do get rolling with this brand extension, brand split, that they're going to be doing SmackDown pay-per-views?
I hope they don't do that.
They weren't that good before.
They weren't that good before, yeah.
But they could be better, though, being that it's a network, so it don't have to be pay-per-view or pay-per-view
buys. This is true.
Buys.
It could just be their special events that they have. It might work that way. It wouldn't be so bad, but I just would hope that they wouldn't do like 2 a month or anything like that.
Yeah, that's too much.
That would just be way too much. So I'd still would rather have it be.
What if it was like Raw this month, SmackDown this month?
That's
and
the way
went
they
back
used
and
to do
forth?
it. Yeah, that's where they used to do it.
Or would it be better when they just do the exclusive? It's like instead of network exclusive, it's the SmackDown exclusive live from Tokyo or wherever it is.
I'm wondering where they're going to go with that because I mean it like you said, it didn't really work before when they did it. It's always better when they have all the both brands together, and I think they'll get more people in the house if they have everyone.
Right,
in.
I do too.
You know, if you have John Cena and Roman Reigns or whoever the big names are going to be there, when you have them all together, you're going to get more people paying for a ticket.
I believe that, yeah, you could have your certain roster for Raw, you could have your certain roster for SmackDown, have your NXT roster, all that stuff, but at the end of the day, the pay-per-view focuses on the brand as a whole.
Yeah.
So you should just take what's the best thing on Raw, what's the best on SmackDown, and maybe even NXT. It's getting to that level. Why can't they be the opening match of the show? And just put them in there, and that's what it is. I don't want to see separate pay-per-views, is what I'm saying with it.
To me, that would just be overkill. I mean, they tried it before. It really didn't work. They might try it again to see how it works, but I didn't like the way it happened before, so they should just keep it the way it is right now. One pay-per-view, one special event, whatever the hell they call it anymore since they have the network. And I think technically they still have pay-per-views. I mean, my Time Warner cable still says, hey, watch WWE, whatever the pay-per-view is that month. And I'm thinking I don't want to do that because I'm not paying $50 to watch one event when I've got my $10 a month.
Really?
WWE
if you
network.
order 2 pay-per-views a year, you might as well get the network. Exactly. In all honesty, I'm not really trying to talk you into buying the network or promote it because I get no money for it at all.
Exactly.
But in all honesty, it really is a good deal. I used to always at least get WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and it's like, well, if I'm getting these 2 pay-per-views,
might as well just buy it.
Might as well.
I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just get something, I'll get an illegal stream or something like that.
But the quality's not there, and it always freezes.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes
it
freezes with the WWE Network, but it just happens
not like
sometimes.
that.
But nothing like that. Yeah.
I remember one time I was watching from some pirated site, and all of a sudden it was like CM Punk whenever one of the times he retained the championship, and right as it goes into all the finishing sequence, you know what's going to happen? It freezes.
Yep.
And I didn't get to see it. And then next thing you know, it comes back to like 2 minutes later, and he's standing there with the belt over. I was so mad. I think it might have been one of the Cena fights too. It was a big fight. That's why I always bought like the big fights that always mean something.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, well, I'm buying these anyway, so I'm just going to get the network. And the network does give you a lot of great things. And
you get to watch all the stuff from the past. You get to watch all their great shows that they have.
Those horrible SmackDown pay-per-views.
Yeah, from the past, yeah. You can watch some of those god-awful WCW pay-per-views in the past. And obviously you get to watch NXT. You get to watch Swerve, which just came back.
Right.
I watched the first 2 episodes. Very funny. Can't wait to watch the rest of them. Camp WWE, which first episode I was like, but the rest of them I'm laughing. Vince McMahon's character is absolutely hilarious. And you have so much to get for $10.
So check it out. Anyways.
And once again, they're not paying us. We're just saying the way we feel.
That's just the truth. And Teddy Long, back to the wrestling, the product. Is Teddy Long as last we see of him?
I think this was just a one-time deal. I don't know.
I agree more. I think
it was just a one-time deal.
Anymore.
No one expected it. And because the way they're going, it's going to be McMahon and McMahon. So I think this was just something to tease you a little bit. It was funny, you had all these guys out there in the ring. Then Teddy comes out. We're going to have a tag team, Texas Tornado, Fatal 4-Way. And everyone was like, what the hell is he talking about?
Like, Teddy, open your eyes. You see what's in front of you?
Like you've gone crazy.
Exactly. It also started, we had all the guys that's participating in Money in a Bank. They were all sitting on ladders to start off the show.
Which was very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. And definitely a different way to start off the show. And they basically were saying why they should get it. And then that led into singles matches throughout the night.
Which I think we called last week.
Yeah, we definitely did.
We
There's a few things.
We were kind of sick and tired of the tag team matches. Like, maybe we should have some individual matches, and they did it. So I think, once again, they're listening to us.
And you brought up Teddy Long last week, too.
Did I?
Yep.
I probably did. Well, any single time.
You said something about Playa and all that stuff. So you definitely brought him up. I'm not saying
they're getting
anything,
ideas from us, damn it.
But for real, though, basically the single match, Sami Zayn, he took on Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio won, which I was surprised at that. But at the same time, Kevin Owens took on Dean Ambrose, and Kevin Owens lost. So kind of keeping Kevin and Sammy on the same level, I think. So because they're always punching back and forth. Like when they're standing in the beginning of the show talking crap to one another, like Kevin says, everybody knows who everybody here is except you, Sammy. Who are you? You've done nothing. So I think this is like a way at the end of the day where Sammy could be like, well, I've won just as many matches as you and all that type of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep on that, but it's like almost what happens to Sammy is what's happening to Kevin.
Mm-hmm. And with that, them losing, you might think, there's definitely no way they're going to win at Money in the Bank. And if they do, it makes it that much more special. It's like, okay, they're losing these matches before the pay-per-view, and then they get the brass ring that they so richly deserve, and down the line, we have a WWE champion.
Yep, and so we have Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose, and Kevin Owens, Alberto Del Rio. They're the 6 guys in the Money in the Bank. We still going with Dean Ambrose as the main winner 2 weeks out? They're setting up for it.
It seems like it, but I mean, I could definitely see Kevin Owens. I mean, I'm hearing they're expecting a lot of things from him. They're going to push him big. The only guy I really couldn't see them doing anything with is Alberto Del Rio.
I don't think that's going to happen.
He's already had his shot with.
Ooh, Spanish. That was funny.
That was funny. He's had his shot, so I think he's just in there. I could even see Jericho winning because they're pushing him hard as a heel.
And they brought up
you
how he's
stupid
never
idiot.
won it or anything like that.
What's that?
And they brought up how he's never won it and everything, so there's a real chance.
Yeah, he won it.
But he lost to Cesaro,
though. Apple, what was
yeah, right.
Appleton.
Cesaro beat Jericho that night. Does he have a chance at winning it?
They're pushing him hard, too. So, I mean...
Either way, there's enough storylines that when they come out of this, that they can still kind of feud with each other because they're building storylines within this storyline.
I mean, I could see them giving it... technically, I really could even see them giving it to Alberto Del Rio, but he'd be like, to me, he'd be the wild card. Everyone else, I could see them giving him a shot to. So, right now, I'm probably going to go with Dean, since I think they're really going to end up pushing for a triple threat, a Shield triple threat. But right now, it's to me, it's up in the air.
We are going to get into our NXT The End Takeover, whatever you want to call it, predictions in a few minutes.
Which is happening tonight. We are recording this
on a Wednesday.
So if you're listening to it anytime after that, hopefully you'll see what our predictions are, and maybe we're right. Yeah,
hopefully we do really good like we did last time. But I'm going to try to move this along because we don't really have all the time in the world today because we're in the
busy.
middle of like radio shows and everything while we're recording this. But so another big moment on Raw was Rollins and Reigns. Like the fight was just teased through a video package. I think they're really saving Rollins in ring work until he actually gets in the ring to work. I don't think they want to push it right now. It's like, okay, well, he could still be on TV. We could get 3-4 weeks out of him on TV, and we don't really need him in the ring until the actual fight.
I mean, they have him working. They do have him working house shows, obviously, to get rid of any ring rust.
And he's been doing a lot of work with the Perfect 10. Who actually did a lot of work with Sami Zayn coming back. So I think Ty Dillinger is somebody that the company trusts.
Yep.
And even though he's not up there, I think he's looked very highly upon. You wouldn't put Sami Zayn and then your guy, Seth Rollins, to work with some Joe Schmo, some schmuck.
It's the same with Curtis Axel. I think at one point when The Rock was making his in-ring return, he was working with Curtis Axel. So they have certain guys that they trust. That's probably the reason why they keep them around, because they're good to help train others and whatnot. And guys will be good fit for the Performance Center to be just trainers if they don't end up being on-air talent.
WWE rehatched Rusev versus Swagger. Pretty boring. I don't want to see this at all. Do not continue on with that. Rusev defeated Swagger, just like always. We all know that was going to happen. Enzo and Big Cass, they took on the Von Villains, and the Von Villains won by disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like we're going to get a little bit more.
I think those two are going to keep on going at it.
Yeah, because it's a fatal four-way for the tag team championship coming up at Money in the Bank. I don't know. Maybe they're starting to look kind of highly on the Von Villains. Maybe they're kind of getting over it, something that we're not seeing. I don't know.
I like I like the in-ring work. I'm just not really big on that gimmick. That's just me. I don't. It's starting to grow on me just a little bit, but I really still it won't last for long. It's just one of those gimmicks that's like, okay, it was good for NXT, but once it hits the main roster, it's gonna get old quick.
Yep, and they try to also play off how Enzo got hurt at.
They tried to do it again.
Yeah. So I don't know how much I really like that, to be honest with you. Kind of, I don't think it was the right use for Enzo and Big Cass. They could be used for something way better. Charlotte also kind of slightly apologized to her father after she buried him and said awful things to him. Once again. Charlotte, she needs some. She's good sometimes, but sometimes on the mics it's just
to
not.
me, that whole segment was just very clunky.
Yeah.
It was bad. I mean, everyone, Becky Lynch, Natalya as well. It looked like at one point when Dana Brooke knocked down Natalya that Becky tripped over Natalya.
Yeah.
The whole thing was like a big mess.
Too rehearsed, and then when they got there, they forgot their lines and their cues. It just was not. That might have been the worst women's segment
in some time. Yeah.
Yeah, since that. What did they call it when they first launched it? The
Divas Revolution.
Yeah,
yes. Since
the revolution began, I think that might have been the worst women's segment.
It was just hokey, clunky. It just didn't work.
We had a nice tag team contest between the Club and New Day. Basically, Xavier got pushed completely out of this picture, which is I
don't understand.
He's a huge star, and I know Michael Cole really likes him. Michael Cole looks very highly of him. So hopefully, there's more with Xavier Woods, but he definitely got pushed out of the picture. I don't like the fact New Day teaming up with John Cena. I don't think that's needed. I can see how you're putting them together because of Gallows and Anderson being with AJ and AJ taking on Cena. I get the degrees of separation and why it all works, but New Day and Cena, that just don't make sense. It's oil and water. It don't mix.
I guess it's just a way to try to get Cena a little bit more over. I mean, obviously the guy's over as it is. A lot of people don't like him.
Well, then put him in some great matches then, because when he was matches with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and what's the guy, high flyer name, guy, Neville, all those matches, he was getting mad respect because of the matches. Don't give them the little rub like that. I don't like it.
They're just, they're just doing something to get the club, get them all in one match against other people. So, and obviously you have the AJ and Cena match going. And speaking of that, the promo from AJ was pretty intense.
Yeah, that was his best promo.
I mean, the fact that he basically flat out said, "You bury people. I'm one of those guys that you bury." I was like, whoa.
Speaking truth.
Speaking total truth right there.
That might have been one of the most truthful promos we've had since the pipe bomb by CM Punk.
Yep. And the fact that I think Cena actually said Bullet Club, too.
He did.
He did during the promo. I was like, wait a minute, did he just say that?
Vince let it pass because it was Cena. But if anybody else said that, they probably would have had a 60-day suspension.
Exactly.
Also, before we get into these predictions for NXT TakeOver The End, R.I.P. to Muhammad Ali, the greatest. I'm really hoping somebody kind of takes his attitude and his the way he talks and everything
kind
in
of
WWE,
his gimmick in a way.
and be like, you too ugly to be a champion. Somebody that's a champion should be pretty like me. I'm the greatest. If somebody could take that attitude and that gimmick and everything, I think it could get really over. Especially now would be the time to launch it. Not.
Enzo kind of has that sort of thing in a way.
Does.
I mean, he actually did his promo. It was a total tribute to Muhammad Ali. So he's kind of got that thing. I think a lot of wrestlers have that in one way or another because, I mean, Muhammad Ali was a huge WWE fan. Mm-hmm. He was a Gorgeous George fan. So that's how he kind of started doing what he was doing because Gorgeous George said, "Oh, I'm the prettiest wrestler there is."
Yep.
And so that's how Muhammad Ali got kind of his gimmick, the way he talked and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of Muhammad Ali and a lot of wrestlers out there, especially when they start doing that. I'm so good. I'm the greatest. And I mean, CM Punk.
Good.
I'm the best in the world. And Jericho.
Best at what
drinking in, man.
I like that. I really enjoy the drinking in, man. I love his gimmick right now.
It's probably the best he's ever had.
He's so good, heel.
You stupid idiot.
Enzo and Big Cass's promos are awesome. I just love how they incorporate what's going on and take stuff from the towns. They're so good.
So good.
I know that they get praised and stuff, but they're so good. All right, you ready to make these? Anything from Raw that we need to cover before we do these NXT Takeover?
I would say the biggest thing that came out of it was that AJ John Cena promo, and that I'm just so looking forward to that match next week. That's gonna be awesome.
Me too. For anybody that thinks NXT Takeover is really going to end, you're a stupid idiot.
You are what Jericho calls everyone. You're a stupid idiot. I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot.
It's not
the match between Joe and Finn Balor. It's in a steel cage match. How do most feuds end? In a steel cage. I think that's what it's going for.
They're not getting rid of a product this big that sells this much money. Mm-hmm. They're going on a new road trip right now where they're out touring America. It's not ending tonight, right? It's not ending tonight, June 8th, when there's a show in a week in Philadelphia or wherever the hell.
And they've already promoted NXT Brooklyn for the next after the weekend of SummerSlam. It's not ending, people.
Okay? Stupid idiot.
You stupid idiot.
All right, so let's start it off. The Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, is taking on, I don't know how to say his name.
I think it's Andrade Almas. I don't really know too much of him. I'm sorry I didn't do my research.
I don't really know.
Because I really didn't realize this match was happening until today, so I didn't do my research.
He's a big Mexican star, right?
He's
a lucha?
I from the promos that they're showing, I guess he was a masked wrestler, but they show him taking off his mask in these promos, and you just see him like sitting in front of like a screen or something like that, watching his matches from back then or whatever. I'm guessing that's just my guess, and I'll go with Almas because they're bringing him in. Obviously, he's going to be the winner of this.
I'm going to go against you on this one. Ty Dillinger is getting it.
Okay, you're going to lose that one.
He's so blunt with it. Okay, you're going to lose that one. You stupid idiot.
You stupid idiot.
American Alpha is taking on the Revivals for the tag team NXT Tag Team Championships.
American Alpha is hot right now, and I think that's where they're going to keep on going with it. I wouldn't even be surprised if someone like that Dawson and Wilder would be called up pretty soon, too, because those guys are old school tag team, and I think the tag team division could use guys like those, like them on the main roster.
Some strong workhorses, some ground and pound guys.
Absolutely.
I think Alpha's walking away with it. You say Alpha
I say
too?
Alpha, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if you said him or not.
Yes.
Nia Jax is taking on Asuka.
They're pushing Asuka like mad.
Women's
so
championship.
I would say Asuka is going to take that one.
Me too.
I'm wondering whether they're going to go with Bayley, if she's going to come back and maybe get a rematch with Asuka because she deserves it, and then that might be her swan song before she goes to the main roster, which is probably going to be coming up soon.
Yeah, I think Bayley. We'll see Bayley by
SummerSlam.
I would say so.
Shinsuke Nakamura versus Austin Aries.
Yeah, I'm gonna say here Nakamura is gonna get. Actually, no.
I'm gonna go Aries with
Aries
this one.
Yeah.
I think
Aries is due.
They're kind of start pushing him now.
Yep.
Kind of a heel. He came right in as a face, but they seem to be pushing more of a heel. So I think he's gonna use some real shady tactic to win that match.
Yeah, I would like to see Austin Aries win it. He's done his job.
Mm-hmm.
He came from TNA. I don't expect him to win his first match, 2-3 matches. I don't expect that.
Yep.
But I think it's time for him to get this victory. And Nakamura, he's
guy's over.
He's over. He's already had his wins, and we all know he's the king of strong style.
Exactly.
Then the big match, the steel cage match, the end of the feud, because I think one of them is going to the main roster.
I'm thinking it's going to be Finn Balor.
Yep. I think Finn Balor loses here.
Yep.
I think Samoa Joe gets the victory. Finn Balor disappears, and we see Finn Balor popping up on the TV WWE main roster a couple weeks before SummerSlam.
I would think so. Or maybe at SummerSlam.
Yep.
You know?
Somewhere around there.
Or maybe even at Money in the Bank, because you got to think, obviously, you have this going on now. The next week you got Money in the Bank. Maybe Finn Balor helps AJ Styles win, and he becomes a member of the club.
Maybe. There's also originally supposed to be 7 people in the ladder match.
This is true, too. Will we still have that 7th, or are we just totally getting rid of it?
All right, so
things can change.
Samoa
Hard subject
Joe,
to change. Remember that. Always remember
Always
that.
subject to change. Don't complain. You're not going to get your money back. Yeah, Samoa Joe, definitely. He's going to be champion for the foreseeable future, I think, in NXT. I don't think there's somebody ready to take the NXT title right now and roll it in to put the company. Joe came into NXT knowing that he was going to at some point have NXT on his back to run with it. He's already admitted that because Triple H was kind of embarrassed, actually, to ask him to come to NXT and do that, but Samoa Joe liked it and agreed to do it. So shout out you, Joe.
I love you, Joe.
That's it for this edition of ScottPlexCity. Thank you very much for listening. Tell your friends about the show. It'd definitely be much appreciated. Just go find Pank's Podcast and iTunes, Stitcher, all those good things. And then when you subscribe to Pank's Podcast, you are able to get notified whenever we release ScottPlexCity, which comes out each and every single Wednesday. Scotty B, how they get at you?
You can find me at Scotty B 1976 on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at ScottyBizzle76, and on the Facebook, just look up Scotty Blaine. That is Scotty with an I-E, not a Y, and you'll find me. I'm all over the social media.
He's there. At Scott Radio is how you get at me. And next week when we do this, either one of us is going to win this predictions for NXT TakeOver.
It's going to be me.
I probably did make a stupid decision by
You're
picking
done. That first one, you were done. I mean,
but it's a 10. 10. ScottPlexCity.
Marks.
ScottPlexCity.
Marks.
ScottPlexCity.
Marks.
ScottPlexCity.
Marks.